Get ready. Get ready. Fury mounts at the thought of selecting the traitorous, backstabbing, snarky, bitchy, disloyal political hack and all-around asswipe Mitt Romney to be Secretary of State. I, of course, remain neutral on the subject. Italy wants to toss people in jail for not opening their homes to Muslim immigrants. Will Americans one day be forced to do the same? And mayhem and bad manners at Ohio State University. Didn't the crazed attacker know that it was a gun-free zone? I mean, really. My name's Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com, and on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, and the book Riell Truth, Stay Angry, on Twitter at #HowardRiell, at the website, RiellTruth.com, and as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, we are back exactly as I threatened that we would be. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Me, I ate too much, as always. Item. From InfoWars, Ohio State University, where at least 9 people were shot today, is another gun-free zone, highlighting yet again the insanity of preventing responsible people from having access to firearms during a mass shooting incident. The school's Columbus campus issued an alert ordering students to shelter in place just before 10 a.m. this morning after reports of an active shooter. The main suspect behind the attack was shot dead, although there are reports the individual may have had an accomplice. According to some eyewitnesses, the attack began when a man on a bike was run over before 2 men emerged out of a vehicle, one carrying a gun, the other carrying a gun and a machete. Unquote. My friends, I don't have any additional facts. To me, it looks like a jihad attack. We'll have to wait and see what the facts are as they come out. But I want to tell you this insanity, this stupidity, this liberal nonsense about gun-free zones is an open invitation to every kook in the world who feels like killing someone to go ahead and do so. As Donald Trump pointed out in France many months ago, and as I'll point out again here, when these wackos go about shooting or swinging a machete, anybody carrying a gun ends the threat instantly. If they know that there's no one carrying a gun, then they can go on killing until they get bored and decide to do something else. The very idea of gun-free zones, like the idea of sanctuary cities, is an aberration. And they've both got to be eliminated. It's Monday and it's Riell Truth. I got lots for you. Go nowhere.
Challenges that concern you? If you said yes, you are ready to evolve yourself. Call today and qualify for a free pain treatment. 970-667-4669.
I'm Dr. Stanowski, chiropractor, radio host, author of Evology, a new healthcare paradigm for the 21st century. My all-natural approach is affordable and can show improvement in as little as one visit. Truth be told, holistic health starts with a healthy life plan, and those who execute that plan over a consistent course catch up, heal, and thrive. I guarantee. If your health is fading and on prescription drugs, if you want your energy back, deeper sleep, pain-free, or refocus an unresolved personal injury case, call me and let's get you in the best shape of your life. Schedule a visit with me, Dr. Z.
We are located at the Overland Trail Shops in LaPorte. Call 970-667-4669. EVOLyourself.com.
Piccolos Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolos Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am Howard Riell. The big story going on in the country is this, I won't use that word, but this ridiculous, that's an acceptable word on the air, ridiculous idea of a recount that Jill Stein of the Green Party and Hillary Clinton of the Hell Party are teaming up on. It's a complete waste of time, and the reality of it is, it's really an attempt to try and delegitimize Donald Trump's presidency. No matter what he does going forward, they hope, they'll be able to say, well, you know, Trump really shouldn't have been elected. After all, there are irregularities in the vote count, and that's why we had to have a recap, blah, blah, blah. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in the main today. Let's start out with the folks on Fox News talking about Jill Stein being, and I always knew Jill Stein wasn't very bright. You just listen to her for a minute, and that becomes readily apparent. Jill Stein being used as a pawn by the powers that be. Let's play the clip.
President-elect Donald Trump and his team slamming Hillary Clinton's campaign for officially joining the recount effort in up to 3 states. This as election officials in Wisconsin meet today to discuss a potential timeline. Senior Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway not holding back. She's calling Hillary's camp a path of sore losers and more. Their president, Barack Obama, is going to be in office for 8 more weeks. And they have to decide whether they're going to interfere with him finishing his business, interfere with the peaceful transfer of power to President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Pence, or if they're going to be a bunch of crybabies and sore losers about an election that they can't turn around. And in a series of tweets, President-elect Trump throwing Hillary's own words right back at her, saying in one tweet, Hillary Clinton conceded the election when she called me just prior to the victory speech, and after the results were in, nothing will change. And if you recall, Hillary sang a much different tune in the debate and on the campaign trail after Mr. Trump said he might not accept the election results. Watch.
That's horrifying. You know, every time Donald thinks things are not going in his direction, he claims whatever it is rigged against him. We've been around for 240 years. We've had free and fair elections. We've accepted the outcomes when we may not have liked them. He refused to say that he would respect the results of this election. By doing that, he is threatening our democracy.
Folks, let me interrupt. I don't mean to imply that Hillary is a phony and a hypocrite, but, well, you know what? Yeah, I do mean to imply that Hillary is a phony and a hypocrite, exactly as I always knew she was. Back to the clip.
All right, Pete, I was literally laughing in my parents' kitchen all weekend about Jill Stein getting so much money. Yeah. I was like, what sucker is giving this woman money to do a recount? Listen, are liberals only okay with elections being rigged as long as they are losing?
Of course. I mean, this is an extension of, remember the protest that broke out right after the election, and you asked the protesters what their end state is, and they're like, well, no Trump. Well, Trump won. Same thing here. Jill Stein got 1% of the vote nationally in 4th place in Wisconsin, where she's challenging it. And even Hillary Clinton's campaign has acknowledged that no one's ever overcome the types of margins that exist in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and what's the other state? I know that they're challenging right now. They also said there's no evidence in fraud of those states. So this is an absolute nothing burger. Jill Stein's raising money for Jill Stein and the Green Party and self-promotion. This will go nowhere, and I think it is an extension of them just being sore losers. They refuse to want to accept that Donald Trump is going to be
bless your bones, but it is so much bigger than that. This is not just Jill Stein. Jill Stein is being used as a pawn here because she's the only one who could launch this sort of recount effort and keep Hillary Clinton's hands clean.
And by the way, who's on your show tonight?
Was not able to raise more than $3.5 million over an entire year in a presidential cycle when she had the highest profile campaign of any Green Party candidate since Ralph Nader. All of a sudden, she can raise $5 million in less than a week.
Stop upsetting her like that. She's losing her voice.
First of all, I agree. Second of all, I agree with you.
You've given me the faith.
She's also the...
This is not just about Jill Stein. She's being used by Democrats who don't want to get their hands dirty. They want to make sure that Hillary Clinton is shielded, and they're conveniently saying, well, we weren't going to ask for a recount, but now that you're talking about one, I guess we'll get in on the action. It's a little too pat, and it smells fishier than a carp and a car trunk in August.
I can't disagree with that.
My friends, let me tell you, this is Kennedy speaking. She's got her own show on Fox, and she is very, very sharp, and I happen to think everything she said is correct. Let's go back to the clip.
I should point out, it's not only that the Clinton campaign has said that they don't find any actionable evidence of vote hacking, but the Obama administration said that more than once over the weekend.
Sure.
They said the elections were free and fair from a cybersecurity perspective, free of interference regarding malicious cyber activity. So that whole Russian hacking rumor that they rolled out during the DNC isn't playing out, but you still have them challenging that.
And who are 15 million voting machines?
They're trying to discredit the administration. They're trying to discredit the administration. And this is not, these machines, it's local. It's the Democrats that want to make this a federal voting system. These are local.
Which would be vulnerable then.
Yeah, exactly. When all of them are connected to the internet, which they're not. And if you read the Wall Street Journal, you would know that.
It is not just about Jill Stein, but I will say that he also represents the last vestige of teeny tiny hope that every progressive in this country has that they can somehow do.
And the hope of the entire Democratic Party and the entire Democratic machine that raised $1 billion for a losing candidate who is now in the woods in Rhode Island taking selfies with drifters.
Never underestimate, though, the level of liberal left-wing idiocy out there in terms of anybody who would throw a dime at Jill Stein or any of this.
If they were going to throw those kind of dimes at Jill Stein, they would have done it during the presidential race.
Yeah.
Could I turn this back to you, Megan, though? What do you make of Donald Trump's response to this? And
all right, that's not important. Donald Trump responded intelligently, but here's the takeaway. Just as they're saying here, liberals, Democrats, Green Party, they don't like America. They don't like Americans. They figure you're too stupid to understand what these people are saying. Number two, liberals hate America. And if Donald Trump's program, his strategies, his policies will make America great again, then they are against it. Liberals win when people are miserable. Liberals win when Americans are divided, when things are bad, because they come along and say, hey, we're the government. Have some money. And if you can't get a job on your own, let me check your race. Okay, we'll get you a job anyway. Liberals are the party of giveaways, which is the only way they get a sizable number of votes. They don't like America. They don't like a meritocracy. They don't like America being as rich and strong as it is because they think America is evil. If you don't ask me, ask Barack Hussein Obama. This is the last gasp of a political party that's burying itself even deeper than it had during the presidential campaign. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. More Real Truth ahead, my friends. My friends out there in video land, there are some things I can say here that I can't say on the radio, right? But I'm not going to say them anyway, because after all, I'm a religious guy. So just hang on. We'll be back in a minute.
Perfect in the first 3 years of return is high. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, don't wait to call the VA Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Get the help you deserve. Brought to you by TLR Medallion Branded Stucco Protection, serving Boulder and Northern Colorado, providing a job well done for home or business with design in stucco, stone, and brick. Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
Okay, we're back. Told you I'd be back and I'm back. Howard Riell Truth. Let me throw it over to a couple of guys you know, Alex Jones, Roger Stone. They're talking Mitt Romney. They're talking Jill Stein. They're talking Clinton indictment. All fun stuff. Here we go.
I've talked to people involved with the NYPD over a month ago. They said, look, that's what's being held over the head. That if Hillary tries to go forward, it's going to be brought out. Assange hasn't done a real interview. He's supposedly some phone interview, but it doesn't even sound like him in 40-something days. So a lot is going on. I want to get into Romney. I remember talking to a little bird, separate from Stone, but calling Stone over a week ago and saying, I hear that Conway's doing the right thing and is against this Romney deal. And then I talked to others. So, but now she's in the news today, openly coming out saying, did Romney even vote for Trump? So, wow, it's good to see her standing up. We know Bannon's against it. But really, it's a major line in the sand for a lot of people. And it's a test of, will Trump stand up for the base and what he stood for? I'm giving him benefit of the doubt until he gets in. That's what really matters to me. I know major enemies in this country are his enemies, so I'm giving him benefit of the doubt. But because he may just put these folks in because they know how to run things, then later kick them out. Trump's a smart guy. We've got that. We've got the recount that I knew was serious. And now Hillary's joined it. So Trump's been forced to actually respond to it. It was a big joke 3 or 4 days ago. It's not now. So Roger Stone, in this whole pantheon, where do you want to begin?
Well, Mitt Romney is probably an excellent place to start, Alex. Like you, I commend Kellyanne Conway for saying what everybody at the grassroots of the Trump movement is saying. There's several dimensions to this. Mitt Romney didn't just not support Donald Trump. He called him, and I quote, a con man, close quote, a, quote, phony, quote, and a fraud. That's not like saying he's not qualified. But more importantly, his appointment would send a signal to world leaders and everybody in the United States that you can essentially dump on Trump and nothing happens to you.
That's right. He's running up a white flag. He's saying, bend me over a barrel. And let me just add something to interrupt here. This is the guy that helped write Obamacare, Mitt Romney. This is the guy that ran all these pump and dumps, the guy that ran all these, corporate takeovers of legitimate businesses. This is the guy that movies like Wall Street are made about. He's everything wrong with the Republican Party. He's a slime bag. So Trump better stand up against him. Sorry, go ahead. He's the con man, is what I'm saying.
Not only that, but he is more bellicose on Russia than Trump. He kind of takes the neocon hard line. He basically borrowed his ideology, such as it is, from the Bushes. He was not even a registered Republican 2 years before he ran for governor. He ran to the U.S. Senate to Ted Kennedy left, if there isn't space over there. But more importantly, he doesn't share the president's vision. I would say this, that if you look at it historically, the greatest Secretary of State, the ones who had the most credibility in the world, were the ones that had a personal relationship with the president. Baker and Bush, Nixon and Kissinger, and so on. So I think that speaks to Rudy Giuliani. Now, Rudy and I are not a perfect ideological fit. I disagree with him on many things, but I will say this. When the fight came, he gave the only fight speech at the convention other than General Flynn.
And let's go further. I don't know if you can say this because I've got issues with Giuliani. He's not perfect. But since the campaign got down to the rubber meeting the road, Giuliani with the NYPD and stuff, they really came through exposing the Clintons at the key clinch moment. I mean, Giuliani really helped deliver the White House.
Well, I think that's true. I also think that in terms of getting the NYPD to publicly lay this record out at an appropriate time, if there is an attempt by the Justice Department to bury it, to cover it up, Giuliani may yet have a role to play.
So you can confirm with my sources saying the torpedoes are on them with the emails. If the Clintons or anybody else tries anything, torpedoes will launch.
Well, here's what I do know, that on the Monday before the election, when the Director Comey of the FBI said nothing to folks keep drafting, there was enormous pressure put on NYPD that members of the department would be indicted in the Eric Garner case. NYPD did not stand down for some period of time, through the election. But the fact that the president has indicated that he doesn't want to prosecute the Clintons, that's fine. But it's almost because I think there will be substantially more proof of wrongdoing. And at some point, the American people are going to demand, justice.
Sure, Roger Stone, I want to get to that. I don't want to give inside baseball out that I've gotten from my other sources to talk to you about. Clearly, it's not the president's job to go after someone, and the Democrats already know he is planning to do justice. His constituents demand it. Justice demands it. It was in the New York Post today. I knew this 4 days ago, but didn't go with it, that he's basically going to have foreign leaders, just like Obama had Switzerland exposed Swiss bank accounts. Trump is going to tell foreign leaders to do the right thing and release the Clinton Foundation info. That's in the New York Post. It's on Infowars.com. Kit Daniels wrote about it. I don't sit on news, but at a certain point of this level of stratagem, I don't want to sit there and give them what's coming down the pike. But I think they're smart enough to know Trump's playing possum till he gets in.
Well, maybe this is Alex pardon insurance. You see, perhaps that is what's going on here. Trump is a shrewd poker player. Perhaps he understands that if he expressed a desire to move ahead aggressively today on the question of the prosecution, that they would get an immediate pardon and therefore would legally evade justice. So maybe that is what he's building. Never second guess him. I learned that a long time ago. I think at the end of the day, it may be premature. Now, I saw on InfoWars that pressure had been put on, not pressure, but Chelsea had lobbied one of the Trump children to, can't we all be friends?
Was that accurate info I got from one of my other sources?
Yes, it is 100% correct. I heard it from an additional source. So you know that they have a concern, and you can tell they have a concern.
Well,
my friends, let me interrupt. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. If Donald Trump says, today I'm going to put Hillary in jail, Barack Obama can pardon her for all crimes she's committed up until that very day. But if he doesn't do that, and he waits for Obama to leave office, he can then eviscerate Hillary, and there's no one to stop him. That's pretty smart. I got to say, I like that. I like that. And the minute I heard this business about Trump saying he wants Hillary to heal, I knew that was crap, because Donald Trump doesn't care if Hillary heals, and he knows the country needs to heal by putting her in a slammer and seeing once and for all that, yes, there is only one level of justice for all Americans. So I like it. I like what Roger Stone's saying very much. Let's go back to it.
I mean, Sessions, I'm told from another source, did not take the appointment unless he could have a free hand, and the two men really like each other. And the word is, Sessions going to have a true free hand.
Yes, I think that's true, which in one sense I'm happy, because to the former Notre Dame, on the question of legalized marijuana, was havoc to suddenly enforce the federal law in the states that are already legally have been.
Sure, I don't agree with Sessions on the whole drug board thing, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're going to break here in a few minutes. Looking at this then, and we'll start to get into this now. We'll get into recount coming on the next segment. From what I've seen in the tea leaves in the news, with Bannon coming out public, with Conway coming out public, obviously myself and others coming out public, it looks like Trump is getting the fact that Mitt Romney is really like a turd in the punch bowl.
This has not gotten rave reviews from the grassroots. The real question, of course, is where is Reince Priebus in this? Reince is, after all, was chairman of the party when Romney was the nominee, and they are close friends. So he has denied to several media outlets that he is an advocate for this. But my intelligence-wise, I think that's how perfunctory hello got this. I don't think this is serving the president well. You need somebody who shares his worldview, and that's not Mitt. You need somebody who has denigrated it.
Yeah, it's not Mitt. Mitt needs to go. Mitt should be ashamed of himself, but he probably doesn't have the innards to be ashamed. He's too rich. He feels anything he says and does is okay. I would just drop him completely. The way Roger Stone said, the way you would a turd in a punch bowl. That's a great expression. I might start using it myself. Item from Breitbart. To follow up on that, many in the Washington establishment are urging President-elect Donald Trump to choose Mitt Romney for Secretary of State, but his senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway, is giving the grassroots anti-Romney movement a voice. Quote, "It's just breathtaking in scope and intensity the type of messages I've been receiving from all over the country," Conway explained in an interview with CNN's Dana Bash on Sunday. Bash questioned Conway about her decision to stand up for the grassroots Trump supporters who are outraged by the idea of Romney serving in Trump's administration. Stop. Dana Bash, CNN, media whores, dishonest from the word go. If the Trump campaign wants to take some advice from me, I would say don't ever give an interview to CNN. Shut them out completely and put the final nail in their coffin because they're losing ratings. Related item from Breitbart. Monday on CNN's New Day, Representative Chris Collins, Republican New York, and early supporter of Donald Trump's bid for the Republican presidential nomination, blasted former Governor Mitt Romney. Collins described Romney, who's reportedly under consideration for the Secretary of State opening in the Trump cabinet, as, quote, a self-serving egomaniac. Collins said, "What do I know about Mitt Romney? Well, I know he's a self-serving egomaniac who puts himself first, who has a chip on his shoulder and thinks he should be president of the United States. I mean, there's no love lost between me and Mitt Romney. I've called him a loser for the last 6 months," unquote. Collins went on to add that he would leave it to Trump to make a determination on who should serve in his cabinet, but warned that Romney was a, quote, lone wolf and may not take Trump's direction as the nation's top diplomat, unquote. My friends, I think it would be a disastrous decision to name Mitt Romney Secretary of State. Talk about mending fences. Who says fences need to be mended? Item from Breitbart. Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello has followed in the tradition of other liberal celebrities by defending former Cuban leader Fidel Castro in the wake of his death at age 90 on Friday. In a lengthy message posted to his Instagram account this weekend, Morello said that while he doesn't agree with everything Castro did in Cuba, quote, there is ample reason why he is vilified in the U.S. and yet remains a huge hero throughout the third world, unquote. Yes, Castro is a hero throughout the third world, as was Yasser Arafat, as was Muammar Gaddafi, as was Osama bin Laden, which is a very excellent reason why we should keep up a border between us and the third world. Once you try, we as Americans, we tend to think that the whole world is basically like America. It's not. Around the world, you get the worst pieces of garbage in history being turned into heroes, which is why we need to keep the third world the hell out of our first world country. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline, Burnsville, Minnesota. A Muslim woman has become the first to compete in the Miss Minnesota USA pageant while fully clothed, unquote. My friends, including Muslims into American society and more in different ways is exactly the wrong direction to be traveling in. Item from InfoWars, Italy's Minister of the Interior, Angelino Alfano, is planning to throw citizens in prison if they don't hand over their homes to migrants, according to a report from the Italian paper Il Giornale. Just 2 weeks ago, a shocking video went viral which showed an 80-year-old Italian businessman named Luigi Fogli being forced by the state to house African migrants in his hotel. Today, we learned the plan is slated to go into hyperdrive come December, though the government is keeping it secret so as to not sway an upcoming referendum, which could lead to the ousting of the current pro-migrant invasion prime minister, unquote. My friends, what if our government took a lesson from Italy and said, you know what, if you've got a spare bedroom, we're giving you a Muslim migrant from some third world country. By the way, if you won't open your door to him, we're going to throw you in jail or take your house away from you. It's ridiculous, right? Let me ask you a question. How many things are actually happening today that would have been considered absolutely ridiculous 10 years ago? Point made, right? Right. Get it? Got it? Good. We'll take a break. Real Truth will continue. Go nowhere.
TLR Associates of Boulder knows that our military men and women are appreciated and valuable. Coming home after a war and transitioning from a life in uniform to a life without one is difficult. The suicide rate for vets in the first 3 years of return is high. If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, don't wait to call the VA Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Get the help you deserve. Brought to you by TLR Medallion Branded Stucco Protection, serving Boulder and Northern Colorado, providing a job well done for home or business with design in stucco, stone, and brick.
I'm here with the DuPont Pioneer team. So tell us, what are you bringing to the table to help producers manage feed costs?
Feed management is always on a producer's mind.
It sure is. So we take a whole operation approach to help them maximize feed value.
By combining the right products with our expertise and services, we can help producers improve profitability.
It's big picture thinking for big time production. So work with your DuPont Pioneer team to get the most out of every bite. Pioneer, with you from the word go.
Sick of playing the guessing game with your vitamins? Tired of paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars for supplements that may or may not work? If you're a professional athlete or just looking for nutritional peace of mind, look no more because you've found Bio Superfood, the next generation in supplementation. 100% natural Bio Superfood packs all your essential proteins, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, enzymes, and many of nature's special forces you need for optimum health. Call BioAge at 877-288-9116, 877-288-9116.
The Patriot Trading Group is a different kind of gold and silver company, cleaning up the industry for 21 years. Are you tired of the high-pressure sales tactics, the constant phone calls? Are you done with the bait and switch? You just want to be treated fairly with honesty and respect? That's exactly what you get when you call 800-951-0592. You have my word on it. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Check us out online at allamericangold.com.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Census, the uniform people of greeting, police, firefighters, EMTs, and pilots this budget for the team. We thank them for doing a great job keeping our area a place to live, shop, and raise a family. We realize their job is dangerous and sometimes dangerous. The message is from Census, the uniform people of greeting. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Ain't one of the most admired outsourcing companies in America. Census, the uniform people in Greeley.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. There's a guy named Mike Gallagher. He does what I do, and not as well, in my opinion, but he gets all the big shot guests. Here he is with, that was today's show, Newt Gingrich on the show, talking about, I don't want to ruin it for you. Let's listen.
Hey, I know you're busy and you're traveling. Let a couple of things I want to run by you. First of all, and right off the bat, I hope you had a great, you and Calista had a wonderful Thanksgiving. You have a Merry Christmas. It's great to hear your voice here on the Monday after Thanksgiving. Help us understand why, let's start politically here and ideologically. Why do liberals love a tyrannical dictator like Fidel Castro?
Because he's anti-American.
Yeah, that's
not complicated.
No, it's just as easy as that.
You show me an anti-American dictator, I'll show you somebody that some group of college professors are prepared to idolize, lie about, and then turn into a romantic figure.
I watched a report yesterday on CBS, on the CBS Sunday morning show, and the reporter, I think it was Rita Braver, if I'm not mistaken, she did this long, glowing report about Fidel Castro and his death and his life, and she said, now he was a guy who neutralized his enemies, his political opponents. I thought, neutralized? That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah. See, the elite media, remember that when Fidel becomes the dictator, he actually gives the New York Times a medal and says, without you, I probably would not have won. Now, just start with that.
Yeah.
Sort of sign of where the media was. And of course, the New York Times had somebody who had covered Fidel in a romanticized way, and really portrayed him as sort of a democratic method of Robin Hood, a romantic Cuban Robin Hood. Well, he wasn't. He was a guy who had become an American communist. Che Guevara was a ruthless murderer. These guys got romanticized by the American left because they were anti-American. And it was part of a pattern in the American left to always want somebody who was against us to be a romantic figure. And it just goes, it's a very deep part of our intellectual tradition. And it's tragic, and of course, it now so dominates the university campuses that I suspect you are an outright anti-Castro conservative. There are a lot of campuses where you would never get tenure.
Well, and a liberal would bristle at your characterization of why they like him and support him. What would they say? If I got some Birkenstock wearing tie-dye T-shirt wearing hippie in the studio, and I said, why are you sad and sorry that Fidel Castro died, and why did you admire him so? What would they tell me?
First of all, the person you just described probably couldn't find Cuba on a map.
True enough.
And there's nothing of Cuban history. Now, you had a sophisticated liberal professor who knew a lot about Cuba, he would say, Batista was a terrible dictator. He was in alliance with the American Mafia. The American Mafia was corrupting Havana with gambling and prostitution and drugs. And in the face of this kind of brutal dictatorship, Fidel Castro offered hope. But sadly, the revolution didn't quite achieve its goals, but it was better than Batista.
Well, the other positive thing I hear is that Castro opposed apartheid in South Africa. You hear that?
I suspect he did. I mean,
right.
You know, and frankly, one of the victories had some racial overtones. I think that it's fair to say that Castro tended to represent poorer Cubans against wealthier Cubans. The people who came to America tended to be well educated, tended to have good jobs, were fleeing because they were by definition the enemy. Again, remember, if you are a revolutionary communist and you're dealing with somebody who owns a nice house, has a nice car, maybe owns a small company, they're by definition the enemy. These are the people that Stalin was killing in the 1930s, middle-class farmers who were called kulaks, and they slaughtered them in the Soviet Union because they were the class enemy, which then gave you all of their property to give away. And part of Castro's early popularity among those who remained was he was giving away other people's stuff. Right. It was sort of socialism at its most discouraging because it was absolute theft.
What's the over-under on who the United States is going to send as a representative to the funeral?
I can't quite tell because actually, to my surprise, Obama was relatively measured in his statement. He didn't come out with any kind of deeply pro-Castro comment. He was worded very artfully.
I'll bet he goes.
Well, for a guy who did not go to Margaret Thatcher's funeral and did not go to Ariel Sharon's funeral, the heads of Israel and Great Britain, if he would have picked to go to Fidel's funeral, that would truly be one more reminder of how out of sync he is with American values. My hunch is he does not go.
I hope you're right.
But I suspect that John Kerry does.
Okay. We will write that down, and believe me, in a world of predictions, you've been right way more than wrong. Incidentally, I took...
By the way, who's going to go to Castro's funeral? I couldn't care less. I think Castro is one of the bad guys. I think America should turn its back on him once and for all and say that we're against dictators. I mean, we just kept a dictator from becoming president, and that's the position we've staked out. As far as I'm concerned, they can throw Castro in the dumpster behind the 7-Eleven there in Cuba and be done with him. Item from Agence France Presse, Dateline, Washington. President-elect Donald Trump asserted on Sunday that he would have won the U.S. popular vote were it not for millions of illegal ballots, while dramatically sharpening his criticism of a recount in Wisconsin, calling it a waste of time. Unquote. My friends, true and true. We know the dead people voted heavily for Hillary Clinton. She got the dead vote. We know there are a lot of people casting votes. They were busing people into one state, what was it, New Hampshire, I think, or Maine, one of those states, where all you have to do is be domiciled there overnight. You can vote. We know that the Democrats live to cheat. We know that Hillary and her people live to cheat. We saw it all through the election process. And so, no, when some snarky liberal says, well, Hillary won the popular vote, tell them they're full of crap. But they probably already know that because they know they're liberals. Item from csmonitor.com. President Obama is heading into his administration's final weeks with a full agenda of new draft orders to consider, even though his successor is about to scale back job-killing regulation and cancel, quote, all illegal and overreaching executive orders. The White House was reviewing as many as 98 final regulations as of November 15th that could be implemented before Mr. Trump takes office, including 17 with an estimated annual economic impact of $100 million or more, Politico reported. Lawmakers have warned agency heads to avoid rushing to finalize rules or regulations before Obama leaves office, unquote. My friends, Obama only has about 2 months left to do as much damage to the United States of America and its citizens as he possibly can. So yes, look for a flurry of rules, regulations, laws to come out of the White House. Donald Trump will cancel each and every one of them because he is our champion against the kind of sleazebags that Obama represents and, in fact, personifies. Obama's been doing everything for 8 years that he can to gum up the works, bring America down, take us apart, and now his game is up. Now I've got someone who actually does love America and is a patriot coming to power. Thank God, right? Right. We'll take a break. More Real Truth ahead, my friends. Stick around.
Out of control. It's no longer our servant, it's become our master. Listen to me. Liberty Forum with the Freedom Rider will answer the question, what can we do? Our freedom and liberty is at stake. It's time to act. Those who have given everything for this country would expect no less. Tune in to the new Liberty Forum radio show Fridays at 9 a.m.
United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Sick of playing the guessing game with your vitamins? Tired of paying hundreds or even thousands of dollars for supplements that may or may not work? If you're a professional athlete or just looking for nutritional peace of mind, look no more because you found Bio Superfood, the next generation in supplementation. 100% natural Bio Superfood packs all your essential proteins, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, enzymes, and many of nature's special forces you need for optimum health. Call BioAge at 877-288-9116, 877-288-9116.
The Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15.
Okay, welcome back. Howard Riell behind the microphone. Tucker Carlson on Fox News is someone I've come to respect very much. He's a real journalist. He's fair. He's balanced. He's a truth teller. I like him. He's got his own show on Fox News, which you should watch. Here he is being interviewed by the Fox and Friends crew in the morning, talking about Jill Stein's call for an election recount. Let's hear what he's got to say.
They might be actually drinking over at Trump headquarters because, Jill Stein has thrown an IED into the whole party over there with this recount request. Do you really think she thinks the Russians rigged the election?
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's what it's really about. And most stories covering this don't mention that. The underlying impetus for this recount is the idea that the voting machines, the electronic voting machines, were somehow rigged or controlled by someone outside the government, most likely the Russians.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big allegation. Now, I don't dismiss anything. There's no evidence of that, but I mean, I'm open-minded. I want to see the evidence. This recount doesn't bother me, actually. I don't think it's likely to change the outcome, and if there's a suggestion that happened, let's find out. Trump, meanwhile, is also making, as you know, a suggestion that the election was rigged, saying that 2 to 3 million people voted illegally. That's also being dismissed as a crackpot theory, and maybe it is. There's no evidence for that either. But both of these together add up to something pretty significant, which is people don't believe in the veracity of the election results on either side, and that is a massive problem. I really think there needs to be some kind of investigation into the results, not to overturn them, but to reassure the rest of us that the system works.
No, Tucker, there's no way this recount does nothing but put more doubt, more grist in the mill, more.
Yeah, you may be right.
It just does nothing but hurt the president-elect. And for Jill Stein to get traction when she didn't matter all for the last 18 months is unbelievable to me.
I think the purpose of this, from the perspective of Jill Stein, is not to make certain that the system is one of integrity. I absolutely agree with that. And the effect might be to delegitimize in the minds of some on the left Donald Trump, but he's already delegitimized in their view anyway. I just think we need to take 3 steps back and actually make certain that the average person believes in the sanctity of the system. And here's how you do that. By making sure that only people who are eligible to vote do so. Do you know how many states require, for example, proof of citizenship before voting? Out of 50? 0. Only one, Kansas, tried, and in September, that requirement was overturned by federal judges. So look, there are over 10 million people here illegally. There's obviously a massive incentive on the part of the left for them to vote. Why do we have a system where they can vote? We have got over 10 states issue driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Sure.
So, there is the capacity for fraud.
Tucker, you brought something up, and it just reminded me. If let's say the Russians did hack into the Wisconsin voting machines, would you have the Wisconsin Secretary of State do it, or would you have the NSA do it? I mean, maybe they're calling the wrong people to look into
whether or not. That's exactly right. I mean, look, this is a major allegation that a foreign power somehow, by remote, controlled American voting machines. By the way, if there's any proof at all, any suggestion that that's actually true, that's a 5-alarm fire in the center of our democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, we really need to get on that. It's a pretty outrageous thing to say if you don't have proof, to allege or even imply, which they absolutely don't. But, I mean, shouldn't somebody say, okay, let's take a sober look, not necessarily recount the votes, but at the voting machines? What do you say? And press the people who are pushing this to be specific. What exactly are you saying?
Exactly. There should be more proof.
Let's talk about the transition team, because Kellyanne Conway was and Newt Gingrich on the Sunday shows talking about how they're not for Mitt Romney. But if Trump chooses Mitt Romney, my thought was she's risking a lot, because what if he chooses Mitt Romney? What does that mean for her?
Well, she's obviously, and this is just my view, I think she's a very brave person to say that. She clearly means it.
I agree.
And if this is the new era we're living in, now everyone in Washington is scoffing, how dare she speak out of turn and without permission? But my view is how refreshing it is to see someone say what she really thinks on television for once. I mean, she's making a real case, and it's two parts. The first is, if Mitt Romney was, had a lot of support among Republican voters, he probably would have been the nominee. He doesn't, and therefore he wasn't. And so there are a lot of Trump voters who don't want to see this happen. And second, maybe more significantly, does Mitt Romney agree with Donald Trump's foreign policy positions? That's kind of a basic question. And I think the answer is probably no. So for her to say this, I mean, I thought it was great.
It's funny you say what the reaction is from folks in Washington, the establishment, because everywhere else, like in the South and in the flyover states, they're all applauding Kellyanne for saying that.
Yeah.
Because they're mad at him for what he said, and he didn't support Donald Trump over the last year. Should he apologize?
But also, how nice is it? Should Romney apologize?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You'd have to think there would be some kind of, reckoning or reconciliation between the two of them. If you say a guy is too immoral to be the president of the United States, and then you say, I'm going to serve in his cabinet, I mean, there's got to be a transition from one to the other.
Right.
But I just think, Kellyanne Fitzpatrick saying what she thinks.
Right.
I mean, in D.C., a scandal is something that we didn't expect to happen, I guess.
Right.
But I hope we see more of this.
And I hope I meet Kellyanne Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, is that her maiden name?
Conway. I feel so bad.
I'm so sorry. I've known her for so long.
All
Her name was
Irish are
Kellyanne
not the same, okay? Please.
Heather said that's American.
Yeah. All right, so...
All right, so the point has been made. Kellyanne Conway, nee Fitzpatrick, spoke up out of conscience at something she sees as wrong, and that's exactly what we've come to expect from the Trump administration. They speak honestly. They tell you what they really think, not what the focus group research is telling them to say. And I think Donald Trump, who has benefited from Kellyanne Conway's advice all the way through this process, should listen closely to her and to others. Most importantly, he should be listening to me. And wash your hands of Mitt Romney, send him packing, never think of him again. He's a complete zero. He was working actively, not only to slander Trump, but to make sure that Hillary Clinton became president. And so if someone wanted to bring him up on treason charges, I'd have a hard time defending him. That's how much I'm against Mitt Romney having anything to say in the Trump administration. Item from Breitbart: an accused child rapist and Dominican national was released out of custody by Philadelphia police, ignoring federal immigration officials' request to hand over the man. Stop. The guy is a child rapist. And the same liberal idiots who want sanctuary cities like Philadelphia want this man back out on the street so he can attack and rape, I don't know, maybe your daughter. Is it okay with you, if you're in favor of sanctuary cities, is it okay with you if this guy from the Dominican Republic rapes your daughter? And maybe because she got a good look at his face, maybe he kills her also. Is that all right with you? Well, if it's not all right, then how dare you come out in favor of sanctuary cities, which basically is saying crime pays. And what happens to an illegal criminal is more important than what happens to American citizens. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up here on Monday on Riell Truth. Go nowhere.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
We know our government is out of control. It's no longer our servant, it's become our master. Listen to me. Liberty Forum with the Freedom Rider will answer the question, what can we do? Our freedom and liberty is at stake. It's time to act. Those who have given everything for this country would expect no less. Tune in to the new Liberty Forum radio show Fridays at 9 a.m.
If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Paris Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Paris Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Paris Survival.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
Welcome back to Riell Truth. The show goes quickly, doesn't it? It's interesting stuff. Item from Breitbart. Some of the most notorious jihadists in Europe used British welfare payments to fund international terrorism, including the Paris and Brussels attacks, a court has heard. Mohammed Abrini, who became known as the Man in the Hat following the terror attack at Brussels airport in March, was handed £3,000 of taxpayers' money by two men in Birmingham. The jihadist was sent to collect the money by Abdul Hamid Abaoud, who is thought to have been one of the masterminds of the deadly attacks across Paris just months later, in which 130 people were killed. Unquote. My friends, too many Muslims come to a country immediately go on welfare and then use that welfare money to help fund jihad activities. Now, if a country is absolutely brain-dead stupid enough to allow that to happen, well, maybe that country has given up its right to exist. Are we that dumb? Item from fee.org. The real victim of the controversy over the Dakota Access Pipeline is Dakota Access Services, the company behind the $3.7 billion project that would move almost 500,000 barrels of oil daily from the Bakken oil fields in North Dakota to a refining hub in Illinois. The operators of the pipeline are being jerked around by the government, environmentalists, and the Standing Rock Sioux, all of whom are acting in varying degrees of bad faith. The pipeline route is 99% on private land. As such, the federal government's role is quite limited. In fact, the U.S. government's jurisdiction extends only to the immediate area where the pipeline crosses navigable waterways. After jumping through all the appropriate hoops, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permitted construction of the pipeline under a dammed portion of the Missouri River a half-mile north of the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation. Thus, a property right was conferred to the company. Then the Standing Rock Sioux challenged the permit in court. As the defendant in that proceeding, the Justice Department argued that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers had acted legally in conferring a permit to the company. In September, the government won a major component of the case when a federal district court judge refused to halt pipeline construction. Unquote. My friends, pipelines like this one are needed for the United States to achieve energy independence, which we must. As long as we're dependent on foreign powers like the Arab oil sheiks in the Middle East, we are bent backwards over a barrel. We are held ransom. So it's up to every loyal, patriotic American to see that America becomes energy independent. Well, the Standing Rock Sioux don't want that because they feel their local lands might be negatively influenced. They need to start thinking and acting like Americans. They need to be patriotic. If America needs to run a pipeline through their land, then get out of the way, shut your mouths, let the pipeline be laid, and let America be stronger. That's what patriotic Americans do. Item from Fox News. Voters chose Donald Trump, but now he hopes to return the favor with a looming far-reaching decision that could impact the lives of Americans on a range of hot-button issues for another generation. No longer a question of if, but whom and when. The next member of the U.S. Supreme Court will almost certainly be a conservative, and perhaps the first of several nominees who could cement this bench's current shaky right-leaning majority. Let the political parlor games begin. Item from CBS Dateline. Bensalem, Pennsylvania. An immigrant living illegally in the U.S. is accused of sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. The Bensalem town, blah, blah, blah. My friends, another example of liberals allowing illegals to come into the country to be protected, and those illegals damaging, raping American citizens. Donald Trump is going to put a very nice end to that, and I welcome it. I'll be back tomorrow with more Real Truth. Hasta luego. Perhaps liberals don't mind if their children are raped, but ordinary, intelligent human beings do. I'll see you tomorrow.